Hello Internet users, this is Chillafox and welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, we'll dive into the evolution process of mythical creatures in Chinese lore. In our previous episode, we discussed ancient Chinese belief, the concept of yin and yang, qi, and the theory that everything possesses a soul. But how do we arrive at these ideas? It's through stories showing animals exhibiting moral or human-like behavior. You see that during the trip, I heard some really interesting stories. For example, there is a doctor. During his travel to another city, he saved an injured little deer. Now this little deer will wait for him and greets him every time he passes the same route. Why did that happen? Well, this is easy, because the deer, like us, also have a soul. And well, it isn't the only story that came upon. Hey, did you hear the news at the tavern? The sailors on the Yellow River swear that they have seen a mermaid on their trip. There are reports from Wuyi Mountain of a seductive, beautiful fox lady luring the past travelers. It's quite a story. And you know what? There are rumors that Master Zhao's wife is actually the cat he saved 3 years ago. They say she became a human and married him to return the favor. They are now happily living together. I know these stories may sound outlandish, but they reflect an important trend. As technology advances and travel become easier, reports of humanoid creature sightings have surged. Why humanoid creatures? Those with a positive view of human nature argue that such stories are just hallucinations from shadows of animals or trees. They suggest that in exhaustion, one might seek a comforting maternal figure, which explained why there are so many female characters. On the other hand, those with a darker view of humanity believe those humanoid creatures reflect our deepest fear, as humans are the most dangerous threats to ourselves. Either way, the issue is that we now need to provide a logical theory about how the animals transferred to a humanoid creature, and even fully transferred to a human. To answer this question, let's first focus on the evolution from animals to human-like beings. Ancient Chinese saw that animals could split into two categories: the livestock that are easy to tame and able to train against their initially wild or natural instincts. And there are beasts, vicious predators that stay with their natural and wild instincts and cannot be tamed. Meanwhile, the humanoid creatures that transferred from animals are collectively called Yao. But how do we bridge the gap between animals to monsters? We must first bring back the theory that everything possesses a soul, which means inanimated beings can also have their own souls. In episode 1, we stated that trees and rocks might reach a state of enlightenment after absorbing sufficient yin and yang over centuries. After reaching this stage of enlightenment, the ambiotic beings can have their own thoughts and emotions. So, perhaps beasts also need to reach this enlightened stage, but since they already possess feelings and instincts, they are able to reach this stage sooner. Upon enlightenment, these beings, initially guided by animal instincts, develop a sense of morality and are capable of starting a journey of cultivations. Animals starting this journey are defined as Yao, the monsters. On the other hand, inanimate beings starting this journey become Jing, the complementary spirits or elementals. But eventually, as tales progress, they also become more anthropomorphic, more towards human beings. Later, these two definitions merged and become the word Yaoguai. So, Yaoguai are typically described as animal or inanimated objects with spiritual or supernatural ability, with shape-shifting being their most common trait. Their ability to transform, extend lifespan, or become human varies based on their level of practice and learning. For example, in the Black Myth Wukong official 30-minute gameplay trailer, there is a fascinating showcase of the creature evolution. Initially, we saw a wolf and fox-like creature standing upright, clearly in the early stages of cultivations. This creature, while bipedal, still retains much of its animalistic features. It covered in thick fur and its limbs although adapted for standing, still carries the rugged, wild shape of a beast. As the trailer progresses, there is a remarkable scene with an officer confronting the player after noticing we have shapeshifted to an insect. This officer's transformation is notably more advanced than the wolf and the fox-like creature. His fur is significantly reduced, revealing more human-like skin. The limbs have evolved substantially, resemble human arms and legs more closely. Notably, his build includes a pronounced human-like belly, suggesting a lifestyle shift from a wild predatory existence to one more in line with human norms. This physical transformation clearly indicates his higher cultivation rank, demonstrating a more advanced stage in the mythical evolution process. However, the human physical transformation isn't the only part of the evidence to indicate the cultivation rank. In the later of the trailer, the player encounters an elite monster, 刀郎教头. The English subtitle translates him as the Wolf Captain, but based on the Chinese character 教头, which is a rank of army in Chinese Empire during 1500s. The duty of this rank is similar to Sergeant Hartman in the movie Full Metal Jacket. I prefer you to call him Drill Instructor Sergeant Wolfknife. It's way cooler. Despite returning a lot of his wolfish features, he clearly displays a higher level of wisdom and strengths. To really understand why he's got this higher level of smarts, we first need to talk about an intriguing point of the Revolution series. You see, since all the creatures that pass the enlightened stage are trying to transform into humans, that means humans are seen as the top of the chain. We are the smartest and the most capable. Through our wisdom, we can achieve and transform into 3 species: Buddha, Immortal, and Holy Sages. In order to fully understand the relationship between 妖怪, humans, and the 3 species, let's use an RPG system and a D&D character sheet to describe this progress. Just imagine that this evolution process is like a video game. The objective is to reach level 100 by choosing from one of the 3 classes, Buddha, Immortal, and Holy Sages, where each class comes with its unique path to victory. In simple terms, becoming a Buddha is about reaching a profound religious goal, nirvana, a complete enlightenment and inner peace. It is a spiritual journey where you practice compassion, wisdom, and meditation. It's about understanding life's truths, like the nature of suffering and how to end it. Meanwhile, Sage involves a consistent commitment to moral excellence, selfless service, and a profound impact on the lives of others. It's about leaving a legacy of goodness that elevates not just oneself but the entire community or humanity. To become immortal, an individual embarks on a path of rigorous spiritual discipline, which often includes meditation, alchemy, breath exercise, and following a diet of special herbs and food believed to extend life. It is a quest to go beyond mere physical existence to a more profound spiritual state. Of course, you can reset your progress and switch your class in the middle of the game, but let's focus on the next part, race. After you complete the tutorial where you need to reach the state of enlightenment, you can officially start this game. This game has 2 primary races, and we already discussed them before, 妖怪 and humans. The difference between these 2 races is that 妖怪 start with a long lifespan, and they have passive skills that can increase their lifespan as they level up. However, the issue is there is a level cap system for the 妖怪, a limit to how far they can progress without extra effort. Each time a 妖怪 reaches and increases its current level cap, the next cap becomes increasingly challenging to break through, which means breaking one level cap might require centuries of dedicated effort and practice. The higher the level, the more formidable the barrier to the next stage becomes. Humans, on the other hand, begin with a shorter lifespan and unlike 妖怪, don't get a lifespan boost with each level up. However, since humans are the smartest and most capable of practice, they didn't have that level cap system like 妖怪 and could level up freely. In the Chinese evolution game, your race also decides your primary and initial ability scores. For example, if you are a tiger or rock, you will have a high stats of strength and constitution. If you are a fox or peach tree, you will have a high stats of wisdom and charisma. However, your race also impacts your combat system, which will have a flaw that gives you a debuff when you fight against your natural predator. For example, a mouse background Yaoguai will get huge debuffs against a cat background Yaoguai. So now you can understand why some creatures want to switch races. Yaoguai stuck at a level cap might choose to transform into humans to bypass these caps and shake off their background debuffs. What about humans? They might turn into Yaoguai to enjoy the perks of a longer life. But remember, there is a trade-off. When you switch races, your age and lifespan get recalculated to match different race standards. Before we move on to the alignment, let's take a look at all the options that a Yaoguai player can take to achieve level 100. A. Reaching a level of spiritual purity and enlightenment. B. Transform to humans. Or C. Choose a path and consume energy from humans. Here's the main problem. Yaoguai are irresistibly drawn to human energy. It's like a cosmetic force pulling them in. Absorbing human energy gives them a huge EXP boost, but it is a double-edged sword. But once a Yaoguai gets the taste, it is hard to stop. They just crave for more. The way Yaoguai consume human energy depends on their background and race. For instance, if a Yaoguai's origin is a vulture, they are likely to consume human directly, absorbing energy through digestions. But if it's a snake, it might absorb energy through biting. So now Yaoguai just has a quick and easy way to level up. Of course, this way of consuming human energy is against the conditions of victory. Still, the ability to quickly reach the maximum level and keep consuming this energy to store resources to break the level cap makes a lot of Yaoguai choose this path. Of course, this Yaoguai playing style also causes some imbalanced issues. As you can see, the average monster level must be lowered. So, as the Chinese lore progressed, the second edition of the game system was released. The game developer, the God of Destiny, states that the game community does not approve this leveling method. The Yaoguai who decides to practice the way by consuming human energy will get punished by adding extra calamities during their level cap breakthrough. For example, when Yaoguai increase their level cap, they will continue to get struck by lightning, making the level cap way harder to break. The developer also states that the Yaoguai who consume human energy are banned from race transformation unless they voluntarily choose one of the hardest levels of calamities to challenge. However, from episode 1, we discussed that the destiny is non-subjective, purposeless, and undifferentiated. So the result is that all the Yaoguai now gets this nerf, and they all need to fight against the calamities during their level cap. Later, Yaoguai developed several strategies to combat these calamities. Mastering shape-shifting is the most common skill that even Sun Wukong learned from Master Subudi. Another way is to find legendary items that offers protection. And the last resort, just brace for the impact and hope for the best. Also, in the second edition of the game, the number of level caps and occurrences is based on your race and background. For example, the dragons now only have one level cap at level 70, but to break this level cap, a dragon must take a calamity raid request. Dragons are powerful creatures that have high physical and magical resistance, but in this raid, they need to fly straight towards the top of the mountain with no item help, while continue to get struck by lightning that does true damage, until you fly to the top of the mountain and crash into the biggest lightning bulb yourself. Only the bravest, unshrinking dragons who successfully endure this ordeal can freely advance to level 100. Other Yaoguai, like cats and foxes, face up to 9 level caps, but have comparatively easier quests, which each broken cap symbolized by the growth of a new tail. Now, let's piece everything together. To kick off their journey, animals and inanimate objects first need to attain a level of enlightenment, transforming into Yaoguai. Once they have become Yaoguai, Various paths unfolds before them, leading towards their ultimate destiny. We can now get back to the game and check out some monsters and their concept art. It is fascinating to see the progression these creatures undergo, evolving from their primitive form to much more sophisticated state. However, we are going to hit the pause button on our journey right here. To fully understand the bosses and creatures in Black Myth Wukong, we need to dive into the complex design of the Chinese celestial and infernal realms. These realms are more than just backdrops. They play a key role in understanding the game's setting and the character progression. So, for more insights into these fascinating aspects, stay tuned for the next episode. If you find this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. For a little interactive fun, I have included a D&D character sheet for Sun Wukong. That's before he began his training with Master Subudi. Dive in, add some of your insights, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your input is what makes this journal exciting. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next episode.